Hello, this is attorney Marc Lopez, and I'm here with my good friend, attorney Jason Cleveland. I have known Jason for quite a few years. He does employee employment law. So basically, he helps the little guy fighting back against corporations or bosses, employers that have wrongfully terminated. If I said any of that, let me know. Any of that wrong. Jason, introduce yourself.
Hi, Jason Cleveland. I am a partner at Cleveland Laner Cassidy, and yes, we do plaintiff's employment law. So essentially, we represent people who have employment claims against their employers or former employers.
And so last week, Governor Holcomb made a statement that a record number of Hoosiers were applying for unemployment. And so during these interesting times, I thought it'd be a good idea just to kind of talk to someone I consider an employment law expert, Jason, and kind of give his thoughts on how the average Hoosier can file for unemployment and also just some common questions that he comes across. Are you ready to rock and roll?
Yeah, for sure. And to your point, I saw this statistic today that I think it was Goldman Sachs said that claims are set to jump from 281,000 the week of March 9th to 2.25 million for the week of March 16th. To give a little bit of context to that, the highest number that we had during the Great Recession of 08 was 661,000. So lots of filings.
Yeah. So Jason, when does a person need to actually apply for unemployment? What is the time frame for that?
Essentially, you're going to want to apply as soon as possible. If you've been terminated, laid off, and we'll talk a little bit more, even if your hours have been reduced, you're going to want to go ahead and apply for unemployment benefits and start getting those to come in, because especially under the new federal stimulus package, they've increased benefits, but that is only for a period of 4 months. So there is an end gap to that. There's no reason to wait. And also, when you're filing for unemployment benefits, there are some requirements in the state of Indiana about how much money you earned prior to filing. So if you've been without work for an extended period of time and you haven't earned any money for some time, you may not be eligible. I'm not clear on whether or not the federal stimulus bill is encouraging states to approve claims regardless of those normal requirements or not.
And to be fair to Jason, we are doing this interview the next day after the federal stimulus package was filed and passed. So all the details don't exist yet, but we can get updates and whatnot. So we're doing the best we can to bring this information to people so it can help them. What is the first step for someone to filing unemployment? Is there a website? Is it online? You go in person? What happens?
So right now, filing for unemployment, you have to do it either online or like via computer or a smartphone. You can go into the Department of Workforce Development and file, but that's not an option now. They are working on a call-in telephone application process for those that don't have internet, but that's not up and running just yet, although they say that'll be coming soon, and they'll release the details on that when it does launch.
And the reason you can't go in there right now is because they're trying to social distance, and a lot of the government agencies, they're still functioning, but they're trying to limit people coming there. Is that correct?
Yeah, right. And as you can see, I'm in my home right now. We've been in isolation for coming up on 2 weeks now. So I've been working from home to try to help with, stem the spread and blunt the curve ourselves.
I like to stem the spread. Okay, yeah. So we appreciate you practicing and being healthy, keeping the rest of us healthy too. Jason, what about part-time workers? Under Indiana, are part-time workers eligible for unemployment?
Yeah, so typically part-time you're not, but again, with this federal stimulus package, that's something new. So the feds are allowing workers who work part-time or who have suffered reduced hours to go ahead and apply for these benefits, which is a great thing. The new federal package also covers independent contractors, like contract employees and self-employed employees who typically aren't covered by unemployment insurance. So it really does expand the pool of people who are allowed to file.
And so that's what you just said is huge, because in the past, Uber drivers would not qualify for unemployment benefits. Am I correct? But under the stimulus package signed last night, they would.
Right. And, there's been some litigation. I think I'm not up to speed on it completely about whether or not Uber is correctly identified all their employees. But yes, I mean, usually as an Uber driver, you pick your hours. That's going to, you pick when you're going to drive your car. That's going to be an independent contractor relationship or an independent contractor employment relationship. And yeah, they wouldn't normally be allowed to file, but they will now.
That's awesome. Good for them. Good for anybody who's working for themselves or independent contractor. What is the maximum amount a person can earn on unemployment?
So again, this is something that the feds have really helped out with. In Indiana, the minimum amount that you can get is $50 a week. The maximum is $390. The new federal stimulus package, as I understand it, is that across the board, anybody who applies will get an extra $600 on top of what they qualify at the state. So if you are a highly compensated employee or were a highly compensated employee and you qualified for up to $390 of unemployment with the federal stimulus, you're going to get $600 on top of that. So you're going to get $990 a week.
That's huge. I mean, that's absolutely insane. That's great for anybody who needs it too. Under normal Indiana law, what is the maximum length a person can be on unemployment?
I think it's 26 weeks. That you is the maximum amount of time that you can get unemployment. But with the federal stimulus, that's going to be 4 months. So that $600 is going to run through June essentially.
From now until June, okay. And then,
but the state's 26 weeks.
Is there a time limit? So, and someone that got fired last week or 2 months ago, is it too late for them to file unemployment, or is there any kind of, like, for lack of a better word, statute of limitations?
No, just certainly, if you wait for like a year and then, you don't have the past wages to use as that basis, then you may have trouble. But absolutely not. If you got fired yesterday or last week or 2 weeks ago, or you get fired today, file for unemployment immediately. Go to the Department of Workforce Development's website. And they have really good resources on there. There's a claimant handbook that you can use to help understand the process. They have a very helpful facts page that you can look at to read commonly asked questions and things of that nature. And then they have a pretty straightforward system to essentially file your application.
That's awesome. Now, in the event someone is denied, what are the next steps?
So if you're denied unemployment benefits, and you can be denied for a myriad of reasons, but usually it boils down to whether there was cause for the termination. But if you've been laid off, if you've been fired because of the coronavirus, those are going to be pretty automatic yeses. But if you do get denied, the next step is to appeal, and you would get a letter through the mail from the Department of Workforce Development letting you know that your claim was denied, and gives you instructions on how to file an appeal. You may want to hire an attorney to help you do that appeal. What it entails is a telephonic conference with an administrative law judge. So typically the employer will have a representative, maybe a lawyer, maybe another type of professional person who does these unemployment claims sort of for a living. And so it's a good idea to have somebody on your side for that too. And you essentially go through that telephonic hearing, and administrative law judge listens to the evidence and then renders a decision.
And that's something that you and your firm can help out with, the appeal aspect of it, unemployment, correct?
Definitely, yes. The filing is frankly pretty. The Department of Workforce Development definitely gives you all the tools you need to file. But we can help in terms of filing an appeal and representing during the appeal process at the administrative law hearing.
Jason, before I let you go, I know you're busy and you got things to do. Are there any parting words, advice, anybody watching this who is about to go file for unemployment? Any last minute tips?
I would just say, really take advantage of this. These are unprecedented times. This package that the federal government has just passed, it's a $2 trillion stimulus package that's amazing. It's more, we did 800 billion in 2008, just for purposes of comparison. So the government understands that there is a great need to provide people with money during these times when People are going to be laid off, going to be fired. Take advantage of this time. These 4 months are critical. That $600, they could extend it. They very well might not. But you could end up getting more in unemployment than you were earning at your job, frankly, because under the state's unemployment, it's 47% of your income essentially. But this is just a flat 600 on top of that 47%. So, an unprecedented move, great benefit for working people, something that needs to be taken advantage of, and you need to take advantage of immediately.
Jason, what's the best number for anyone to contact you?
You can call my office at 317-388-5424, and we're there. My partners are at the office. I'm working remotely, and we're there to help answer any questions, provide any advice, and provide representation for our fellow Hoosiers.
Thank you so much for being here today. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Mark.